Hey everyone, Michelle here, personal trainer and lifestyle coach. Today I'm so excited to talk with Nick Olson on our first visual podcast. So I'm excited to hear a little bit more about you and your journey and kind of where you've come from and how you're helping people on a daily basis. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you. It's good to
Thank
be here.
So Nick and I know each other. We worked together at Boom Fitness in Tualatin, Oregon, and he was my fitness manager at the time. Awesome guy, super educated, really great at teaching stuff. He has been a trainer for 11 years, so he's definitely been in the field for a long time. He has a number of certifications, including a CrossFit certification, his NASM. He's also TRX and HIIT certified. So he's got a lot of cool experience to be able to share with us today. And I'm so excited to hear more about it. So Nick, if you could just tell us a little bit about kind of who you are, where you came from, how did you get where you are today?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It has been a journey, but I'm Nick. It's been 11 years as a trainer. It doesn't feel like 11 years, but it's a whole lot of experience when you think about it. And I'm somebody who grew up as an athlete, as a young kid. I was always in sports for the most part. I was very dedicated to sports, found a real passion for it. I enjoyed it the most. It's what I looked forward to doing. Pretty much developed naturally that I like to help people and I like to be in getting better aspect of athletics. And so, went through some troubles as a kid and as an adolescent that pretty much led me down a bad path. And the thing that saved me was fitness. It was always there for me. So help me get where I'm at. If it wasn't for health and fitness and exercise, like I wouldn't be. So naturally, I became a trainer after working out, getting clean, feeling good, and now I'm here. But there's a whole lot of in between. But got me where I'm at.
Awesome. What kind of sports did you play as a kid?
Baseball and football were the main sports. Dabbled in some other things. I've been around a lot of it. My brother was a wrestler, and just around athletics a lot. Soccer was the only thing I was never around too much, but track and field here and there, and it was just a lot of good stuff that you learn and you put yourself into.
Awesome. Any really quick, sorry to put you on the spot, but memories that you have, just something that you really enjoyed as a kid?
That I really enjoyed. It's funny you asked that. I was like, the first memory that came into my head was not a good one, but
Oh, you can say that too if you want.
when you asked me, and the first thing that popped into my head, something I think about a lot was like our little league World Series, not the big one, but our World Series. Like we lost, and I cried, and I think I'm emotionally hurt from that.
Awesome.
Like that's what I think about pretty often. But good times, like what I remember most of was the camaraderie, like building your brothership. Like these are my guys, these are my bros. We practice day in, day out. We play day in, every other day out, or every week out, kind of thing. But the camaraderie was really awesome. It taught me how to work hard, how to be a team player, um, stepping up to the plate. Like when the time comes, like I feel like that's a big thing in athletics is it teaches you how to be confident and move forward no matter what the challenge, no matter how great it may seem. So I think a lot of that built into me from athletics and coaches. So and some memorable coaches, some memorable friends. I've been ran over by an NFL player, so that was cool when I was in
Oh.
high school.
Was at the time, or was he
No, no,
later
no.
became?
But a couple years later,
Got it.
he's in, and I was like, I got ran over by that guy.
Kind of cool, yeah. I can see that. Awesome. And then do you feel like you've been able to transfer that kind of camaraderie to fitness and health as well?
I definitely think so, especially one-on-one coaching as a personal trainer becomes really intimate, and I feel like you're on a team with 20 kids, 20 different boys every year, kind of thing. Like you learn how to make friends, and sometimes you don't always make friends with them, but you learn how to interact with them. And I think that definitely has real world like that's real world. Like you're not always friends with everybody, but you learn how to interact with them. You do or you don't sometimes. And that camaraderie ship is like something you just learn how to adapt to the people that are in front of you. And I think that's been pretty simple for me to do. And I think that does kind of tie back to sports and stuff like that. So in the CrossFit setting, super simple. You're surrounded by your team of people that are always at your 6 a.m. workout or your 9 a.m. workout, whatever time it may be. That's your team, that's your people, that's who you root for, it's who you push to grow, and you help them surpass their obstacles and challenges. So yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. And I know that you have been doing CrossFit for a while. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you got into CrossFit?
CrossFit's fun. That's a fun story. I didn't like CrossFit at all. Had very bad thoughts on it, and they were all what I heard from other people saying what CrossFit was. It's just it's not good for you. You use bad form. You're doing all these high reps, this and that, and you're gonna get small, and just heard so many bad things. And it's not programmed properly and periodized, and I didn't want to do it. And I was very into my type of lifting that I did at the time was a lot of like power building, so powerlifting and bodybuilding kind of combined. And I had a kid move from Texas. His name's Kevin Andres, great athlete, doing some great things over in Tennessee now, Nashville. He's like, bro, like you're cut out for CrossFit. Like, come do a workout with me. I'm like, bro, serious? Like, I don't want to do CrossFit. And I showed up at 6 a.m. and the parking lot's empty. No one was really there. It was like a few minutes before 6. He shows up at 6 and everybody starts coming in. And I want to say there was 15 people in the class. And then him and I were off doing our own thing. And I remember pretty vividly how that workout made me feel, and in a good way. And I remember how bad it made me feel in a good way. It was exactly what I looked forward to doing every day and for the next couple of years. Like, it was intense. It was your brothers pushing you to be better, and you're going hard side by side trying to better each other. And some people say compete against yourself, and I agree, you got to compete against yourself, but it's really good to compete against others, because you most of the time will step outside your comfort zone and train harder. And like, we're still good friends to this day, and our brother relationship was developed through CrossFit. And I think that's really cool, really powerful. So yeah, like I got into it. I think I became a coach maybe a month later. Wow. After first CrossFit class. Like, had a decent background in health and fitness for 4 or 5 years. So blew through the course, went to the seminar, and that was incredible. It was like 70 people at this seminar. And, to say some good things about it is all the bad stuff that people say about CrossFit isn't necessarily true. I think it's fake news, for the most part. People don't agree with some things, and that's okay. But CrossFit does a lot of really good things right. And I think that's worth mentioning, like training intensity, learning new lifts that they may never have ever tried if they hadn't done CrossFit. You learn to become more mobile, which is a good thing for everybody. It's like, if you want to be mobile, you can't overhead squat if you're not mobile. So people work on it. It's like, I remember thinking, I don't know, I want to do CrossFit. Like, I was always enamored by Olympic lifters, clean and jerk and snatch, right? It requires a ton of mobility to do. I'm like, I'll never be able to do that. And guess what? Like, I compete in Olympic weightlifting now. And that's thanks to CrossFit teaching me how to mobilize and get better at achieving positions. And so I could talk all day about that stuff if you want to. But I think that's important. Like, there's a really lot of good things that go on in CrossFit, and what people have to say bad about it are probably just really one-sided, and they're not open to hearing it. But if they want to hear about it, I'll gladly tell them about it.
So I know that you mentioned you don't do CrossFit as heavily now. Do you still coach CrossFit though?
I do coach CrossFit occasionally. CrossFit Tualatin, great gym. I'm not a head coach right now, just doing a lot of coaching and training on the side. But when they need me, I get to step in, and I look forward to it every time. Like it's something I truly love, and I do think it's great, and I would never totally give it up. So it's good to be surrounded by it. I just don't do a ton of it anymore. So
Okay.
yeah.
And your focus has shifted to Olympic lifting a little bit more now and competing?
Yep, exactly. And that's what's cool about CrossFit. I didn't think I could do some of that stuff. I did some of it, not very good, but I got good because of CrossFit, and it introduced me to the competitive aspect of life again. Like it's something I missed. And it's something I missed is competing. Like, okay, well, I wasn't a collegiate athlete. I wasn't that cool and that good, not that big and all that good stuff. But I was able to find my arena again and do CrossFit competitions, and I've won some and I've lost some, and I miss that. So training for competition is a beautiful thing. And I enjoyed the Olympic lifting aspect a lot. I dedicated some training blocks to it, and I got pretty decent. And I look forward to it. And it's what I'm passionate about now. It's what I like coaching the most. If I get a good lifter in front of me, or if I get a nobody they've never done it before, like I love teaching that stuff, like diving into it, and yeah, the nitty gritty of it. It's good.
Okay. So I guess two follow-up questions there. Number one is you mentioned that you think it's important to try to compete with other people in your class and other people and that sort of thing. And then you also mentioned that you missed competition. What do you think being a competitive athlete does for people?
Mainly, I think it helps them step outside their comfort zone. Um, you should automatically become more accountable to yourself. Like, man, I gotta really show up in 12 weeks. Guess what? Like, I'm gonna eat better. I'm going to sleep better. I'm going to try to de-stress better. I'm going to train harder. I'm not going to miss training sessions. And it gives you something to put on the line. And even if you're not a competitor or ever, like I talked to one of my clients about this, like, hey, have you ever competed in anything? You ever thought about it? No, no, no. Like, why? Like, here's why I think it'd be good for you, and all the reasons I just kind of mentioned. It allows you to step outside your comfort zone and do things that you probably wouldn't do normally. I think that's important to really learn who you are and what you're capable of. And I think that's beautiful stuff right there.
Absolutely. That's really
Yeah.
cool. So then you do encourage some of your athletes to be competitive. And if they're not the type to be competitive, how do you have that same conversation with them?
The people that are competitive, that's, they're good enough to be competitive. I enjoy those conversations a lot because I get to speak into people what they're capable of. Hey, I noticed like you have great talents. You could be really good at this with like more dedicated focus and time and energy. I think it'd be good for you. Cool. And let's talk about how that would work. With somebody who's not competitive, it's more of me finding out like maybe what their interests could be or would be. I guess I have a pretty good example. Do you remember Alicia Vice?
Hmm.
She wasn't a competitor really. Like she had never done athletics stuff when she met me, maybe in her upper 40s. And she never worked out very much at all, I don't think. I could be wrong. I trained her for quite a while, but having that conversation, like, well, what do you think you would like to do? And I think the first thing she did was just like a Spartan race or warrior dash. It was warrior dash. And it was cool. It was motivating for her. She trained harder. She ran faster. She lifted better. And like she went and did it. And she started to understand that she really enjoyed stepping outside of her comfort zone like that. And now she's got state record in the deadlift and powerlifting, uh,
Hey.
like which is freaking cool, right? Like it's awesome. Like took somebody that never done it and said this could be good for you. I think you'd rock at it. And she was like, okay, like thanks for believing in me. Let's do this. And we went and did it. And like that's a cool story. Like that's an amazing story. And so that's power in itself right there, like what fitness can do for you. And you don't have to win. You don't have to necessarily compete, but if you do, like I think there's a ton of benefits from it.
Awesome.
So yeah.
So you and I have also had this conversation about helping people find their why, right? Not only just their full purpose in life, but their why are they wanting to work out? Why are they want to be healthier? Where do they want to go? So tell me a little bit more about the conversations that you have with some of your clients in order to help them find their why.
Again, I think part of our job is to ask the right questions. If you don't ask the right question, you're probably not going to get the right answer. So it really comes down, and it's not always one conversation, maybe it's multiple. I do have a pretty good assessment like questionnaire that I send to people that helps me get a feeling for it, but it's finding out what they like, what they enjoy, what they don't like, and you know, finding out what drives them, what's important to them, putting in a list, and you basically start to narrow it down to what's most important and most valuable to you. So we did talk about this, like my why is like healthy mind, healthy body. If I'm doing the right things, I'm not doing the wrong things. When I do fitness, that is me, it's my identity, it's my why. Like I don't want to go down the path that I went when I wasn't doing health and fitness stuff, right? So like, that's my huge why. But I didn't always understand it, and I think it's important for people to understand more of why they're doing what they're doing. You just want to have a six pack? That's probably not a strong enough why. So for example, like why do you want to have a six pack? Like what is that going to do for you? It's probably going to help them build more confidence, feel more confident about themselves. And that's their why. It's not that they want a six pack. They want to feel more confident. They want to feel more acceptable to people. They want to be better noticed and stuff like that. So it's how you question people and getting them to really dive a little bit deeper. And it's not always an easy task at all. I think it can be a challenging task for people to dive deep. But I think very valuable and important to understand where you came from and why you do what you do.
Awesome. Can we talk a little bit more about your why? You wrote a beautiful purpose statement, and I would love for you to kind of read that to everybody and tell us a little bit more about what drives you.
Do I have that in here?
Yes.
Oh, just for notation. Where did I put that? I did. Yes. Boom. I live for elevating my fitness level, creating long-lasting friendships that are built through positivity and laughter. I exist as a powerful and positive person of service in this world by motivating and pushing myself and others to be the version of themselves they only dreamed of becoming. So, that took some time to create, and it does wonderful things for me. Like I got the chills reading that. Like when I think about myself on a basic level, I'm a gym bro, right? But I live for fitness. I want to create, friendships that last for forever. I know you now, we're good friends. Talked about Alicia. Like there's my group is expanded because of fitness, and I'm a pretty positive guy. So I'm hardly ever negative as much as I can be. I try to find the positive side of it. And I love to laugh. People make fun of my laugh, but it's a good laugh. I don't care. And I know I'm meant to be like somebody who motivates other people. Like I'm good at it. I was built for it. God-given gift. Thank you. And so, yeah, it's good. It's powerful. And I think building out statements like these, affirmations, like you really help you become more attached to your why and help you stay accountable and more goal driven. And there's just such good stuff behind it.
I love that. Now, one comment that you said is that you were built for this. Do you think that people are built for specific things, or that they have a specific purpose that they just have to discover, or what do you think about that?
I do. I think we are all built for something, and putting that into a simple job, maybe not. But we're all good at something. It's finding out what it is and how you can mold that into what you want to do. Like, I know I like to help people. If I know something that somebody doesn't, like, hey, like, let me teach you this, let me show you this. And I found out that I'm good at that type of stuff. Obviously, I love fitness. And so, like, that was a way for me to help and service people through something I'm obviously passionate about. And that just made sense. So I think everybody is built for something. And, I remember, this is actually kind of fun you asked, like, my first fitness manager when I was interviewing at 24, great dude, Amir Mafidi, he asked me, like, they were wonderful questions, but I thought it was so bizarre. Like, I'm 22, young kid, right? And think I'm the fittest and whatever. And he was like, in your deepest deep of hearts, in the world, sky, and I don't know, it was crazy, and stars, do you know that you're supposed to be a trainer? And I was like, yes.
You're like, that's the right answer, right?
Bro, like, I read it, I live it, I do it, and I'm still here. So he asked the right question, and he hired me. He must have believed it, and I just thought it was so funny. Like, that's something that stands out in my mind a lot.
That's an approach to either get somebody to fully commit or scare them away, right? I mean,
100%. Like, you want to be a trainer, they come and go, and the people that stay in the business, maybe some left and life didn't work out for them or whatnot, but like, being a trainer and a coach is a pretty dedicated job to your people, and showing up and being there for them, and continuing to evolve your skills and your skill set. And yeah, like, you make it or you don't sometimes, and we see a lot of them don't, unfortunately, and maybe they move on to better things. But yeah, absolutely, weed them out real quick.
definitely.
Yeah.
And do you feel like, I mean, obviously you've been in the industry for a long time. Do you feel that there's a driving reason that you're still doing this?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't, really hard to imagine doing anything else but helping people. And I've developed a pretty big skill set, big bag of tools, and it's not full. I can continue to learn and continue to apply things. And sometimes as a trainer, it's easy to kind of get complacent, and myself, it can be hard. Like, we don't want to be complacent. Sometimes we're teaching the same stuff. We teach the basics over and over and over, but guess what? Like, they do the most for us. And every now and then, like, I'll teach something I've taught a lot, and I'll learn something from it, and learn how to apply that differently to somebody. And it's like, that's still cool. Like, that keeps it fresh. And so I think that's interesting and cool. But yeah, I can't imagine doing anything else but helping people and, like, getting them to be better. Like, in my mind, like, I can service people and, like, doing what I love. Like, what else would I do? So yeah, that's that.
Okay. And what do you really love to teach? You mentioned, basics and new people and stuff like that. But what's your niche? What are you just passionate about teaching?
um, it was hard to narrow down, super hard. Like, when I think about it, like, I go in and out of what I'm super motivated by at that point. And if I'm reading about it and I'm learning about it, that's probably what I'm, like, driving home to my people. And you do learn as a trainer, like, I couldn't train you like I train me, because you need different things, right? But now we get in here. You want to do what you're motivated by, like, at that time. And I don't know, I have training ADD, and I just love all of fitness except running. And even at one point, I ran a lot. So, and I competed in running. Do that again. But yeah, there you go. You learned something new today, didn't you?
I did not expect you to be a runner.
Once upon a time. Well, yeah, I think pre-trainer, I'd done a couple, like, 5Ks, and, like, they were cool. And, like, I was wanting to be competitive at a 5K. I didn't want to run much more, but like even a 5K, like that's pretty fast. You're running hard, and I don't know, I was running a sub 20 5K, and like I remember how excited I was by that. I could not do that nowadays, that is for sure. But what were we talking about? My niche. I think I'm great at teaching the basics and getting the average person to understand what the basics can do for them and how it can change their life. And they only need a few modifications here and there from time to time. If you do it right, you don't get bored. I like teaching that. I'm good at teaching that and applying it to people and their lifestyles. That's for sure. I love coaching Olympic lifting more. I don't know. It's crazy. Like I was learning gymnastics and CrossFit. I'll teach you how to muscle up. Let's go. Right. And like, man, it comes and goes and it changes. And that's what keeps me and my ADD at bay. Like I can do this, I can do that. Like, perfect for me.
Awesome.
Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had some experience with teaching newer people, basically it's just confidence, right? When they're brand new, they're just missing the confidence to be able to go out into a gym on their own and be able to know that they're executing things properly. And that, everyone always says this, that not everyone at the gym's not looking at me because I'm doing something stupid or whatever the case is. Like everyone thinks that, right? So like, what's the next step once you start to build that confidence, once they start to get a better feel for what they're doing and their body and their awareness? Where do you typically go from there?
Wherever they want to go. It's I think that does come down to challenging your clients for a while, like challenging them after a while, like, well, what's next for you? Like, okay, we're getting stronger, we're getting more confident, looking better. Like, these are all the things you wanted to do. What else is there? And sometimes it's that simple. Like, Will is my business coach. He loves, and what else? What else? Something else comes out of my mouth. You keep saying, what else? What else? Imagine that. Like, there's more, and there is more. So sometimes it's that simple. Like, what more do you want? Like, okay, is it important to you? Yeah. How important? Like, really important. Then let's do it. Let's plan for it. Let's figure out how to get there, and let's do it. And we're achieving goals that aren't always, cosmetic. They are more, they're bigger than that, and I think that's cool. I think that, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So then what about clients? I'm sure you've had some of these that just want to maintain or upkeep or, they're fine how they are. They just want to not get worse. How do you typically coach them and what type of approach do you use in order to get them, still excited?
Yeah, that is a good question. I think it comes down to how I approach my programming. For the most part, changes monthly, setting short-term goals for them to keep them motivated. And like, hey, you want to work out and you just want to feel good and you got your accountability for me. You don't want to compete. Great, that's fine. I love it. I get to help you. And here's what I can do for you. And here's what I need from you is to set some goals on specifically what you'd like out of this, training plan. Here's an overview. Where do we want to go from here? What would you like to see accomplish? And that's cool because it's short-term goals. And then they're constantly building success in themselves, and we're helping them build that in themselves. And that's important. I think that's overlooked. Is like, I'm going to train for this Spartan. Cool. Well, I did that. And then I trained for my Spartan and then I'm done. Well, what next? Okay. Like, we have these skills. What would you like to do better? What would you like to see yourself get better at then? Is there anything you think you could do better? Yeah. XYZ. Boom. Okay. And then the plan comes out and we set a goal for this much more, that much higher, this much faster, whatever it may be. It's just continuing to challenge them and being there for them. And yeah, I think it's going to depend person to person. I'm trying to think of some direct people like that, but this is what comes to mind.
Okay. So then let's talk a little bit about the programming aspect of that, because obviously there are programs that are built, 3 months, 6 months, a year worth of program. And what I'm hearing right now is that you are asking for a lot of in the moment feedback from your clients and where they want to go and how things are feeling. So how do you make sure that your program is still designed well, while changing goals more often? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say necessarily that their goals are changing. We still have an end goal in mind.
Okay.
And it's more so here's what we're doing um, in day one, day two, day three, day four. Cool. Is there anything you want to see yourself get particularly better at during this training block? Yes, I want to squat more. I want to squat lower. I want to do more reps, whatever. Like, and maybe it's workout to workout. Like I want to see them get better, so that's there. So the goals aren't changing. The end goal is still there. It's more so just like this is what we're going to focus on and be intentful about, and hopefully we get the desired outcome. And it may be the same thing every time. Like the so their goals aren't changing. It's like, well, I want to do better. I want to do more reps. I want to do more weight. Like, cool, great. But at least we have an intent behind it. And it's building success for them. So when it comes to the programming, if you're a standard client, you just want health and fitness and want it to be part of your life and you need some accountability, it's very basic. It can be, I alternate between 2 blocks of training, basically a lighter load and more volume approach, less volume approach, but more load, more volume. And I'm totally messing up. Intensification and accumulation. So my intensification phases are going to be heavier and more sets, and then the accumulation phases are going to be a little less sets, more reps, lighter loads. So it's perfect. You got a heavy light approach essentially, and that keeps things changing and evolving. And so that's pretty simple. And I just keep it exciting and fun and making sure they're doing their compound lifts, they're doing unilateral work. We're training the core, we're training, anti-rotation, rotation, we're trying to hit all the boxes essentially. So if I can do that for them, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be healthier and better if they're executing by themselves. I know they're doing it with me, so no, we're doing it right. But if you're an athlete, your programming is much more intricate. It's designed with 12-week phase to build this or to peak to this point, and it could be 16 or 20 weeks also. But, for example, it becomes a lot more interesting and fun. I enjoy both though. Like you can still be creative with 2 blocks. You can be really creative with 4. You can be really basic. And I think that's the cool thing about programming too. There's no one answer. You look up programs on the internet, there's hundreds, thousands. Is it what you need? Maybe, maybe not. Could I help you do it better? Probably. So, yeah.
Okay. So obviously 11 years of experience has definitely allowed you to get better at programming and continue to learn more. But where do you feel like you get the most helpful information from in terms of creating programs that are going to be effective for people?
I think, man, that comes from acquiring lots of knowledge, good amount of knowledge. People way smarter out there. But I got a big base of my training from Charles Poliquin, and he's, rest in peace, but he still has the Poliquin, the PICP course. It's 5-phase course out there that develops trainers, and it's amazing. It's, people call NASM the gold standard. NASM's good, great, I'm teaching stuff. But the Poliquin principles in the course, like if you were to go 1 through 5, are amazing. I learned a lot about bodybuilding and using resistance training to improve body composition, like more than anything like that. That was my base for a long time. When it came down to powerlifting, looking at my books and thinking it was more West Side barbell stuff, teaching me a lot of about how to get stronger. and why that's important for normal people. Like getting somebody strong is easy when they're new, but continuing to get people strong at a steady rate, like that's more challenging for people. But I think it's invaluable. The stronger you are, the harder you are to kill. You may have seen that meme. But like if you're stronger, you generally can do harder things and it doesn't affect you as much. And that's built through the tenacity and just the nature of intense training. And I don't mean like insanity intense. I mean like heavy lifting, heavy loads, and your body and your nervous system become adapted to do hard stuff and to fight stress. Like I think that's cool. What like CrossFit? I mean, there's tons of knowledge out there, and it's actually like the CrossFit training curriculum is really cool. It's cool to see how they design things. I always had a problem with it, just maybe because it conflicted with my old ways of thoughts. It's hard to find like what is the one thing, like what is going to get you to the next level of CrossFit. Like, I don't know. Like I do know how I could create a program and maybe it'll make you better, but like there's no direct information out there that said we should do this, and this. If I do this, and this, does that make, like, is that complete? Yes, it's complete. Is it going to make me the best? I don't know. Like, shoot. So that's kind of hard to find, but like, I don't know. I check out blogs from CrossFit coaches, the websites, and I look at how their programming is done, and I understand some of the concepts. So it's a little bit harder to like pinpoint, but that corrective exercise is really cool, important stuff. I really love Kelly Starrett, like general pop nowadays. Like they want to move better, they want to have better posture, like they want to hurt less. Kelly Starrett's the man. Like I've taken people that thought they were broken since the age of like their like middle school age and fixed them. And like I just learned it from a guy who was a physical therapist in a book, like, and watching a video, and I applied it and it worked. Like, wow, like doctors couldn't fix him. I just did. Like, that's cool. And I know you've done the same. So, Kelly Starrett's amazing. Gray Cook was really powerful in the beginning days of my training career, how to move better, and some really good tests that you can do. And if you fail, we failed the test. We're gonna go out. And we're gonna do X, Y, Z and get better at it. And then, you have less pain. You move better. Like, look at that. Those are fundamentals now. So it touches on some good stuff. Science of Sports Training book is really great information. And Super Training. This is an amazing book right here. Called Super Training. It's got to be super. Yuri, I don't even know how to say his last name. Verkhoshansky. He is pretty amazing. Great book. Super in depth. I can't even think of the godfather of programming periodization right now. Oh no. Bampa. What is it? I want to know. I'm going to look it up. Two-door Bampa. Literally known as the godfather of make stuff. And like that is like, you read some of those books, you're going to understand programming and how to apply it to people for different things. So yeah.
Awesome. So I guess this always kind of comes into play when people are starting to get into fitness, whether they want to be a trainer, if they're just interested in it, is how do you know, because there's so much information out there, how do you know what's a good source, what's a reliable source, and what's clickbait?
Reliable. I would look for credibility. People who've done the programming. It's hard to read reviews nowadays because there's so many paid for reviews and fake reviews. But I try to find credibility somehow, or typically I'm looking to the people that I know that are doing the things that I want to do. So if you have a goal of doing this, like look up the people that are best at it and that are teaching it and coaching it, and probably learn from them. Like something I learned was, you want to stand on the shoulders of the giants that have come before you. Like I didn't create this stuff. I'm just reusing what they came up with. And, I make it my own a little bit. But if I do the things that have proven to work, I'm probably going to be successful. And the same for anybody. If they want to learn something by themselves, they can go out and learn it from somebody that's done it and has credibility, and use it and do it yourself. It may not always work and you may have to tweak, but that's what I would say about that. Clickbait is fun. I have been do clickbait, like you can get this much weight off or on, and you take this up. Like, you know what? Stay away from that stuff for the most part. It's not true. Not true. Like, nobody's body changes amazingly in 12 weeks. Like, it doesn't. You don't go from, I don't know how to say it, like, you probably aren't going from your average Joe to Kim K in 12 weeks. Like, it's not going to happen. It's going to take you years, and people need to realize, have realistic expectations. And I think that's a problem with the fitness world, is unrealistic expectations, right? Like, caused by clickbait. It's all over the internet. Everywhere you look, everyone's selling something, some magic pill. Nothing's magic. Your consistency, your to do what you're supposed to do in the gym and out of the gym, that's what's going to get you great results. It's not the pills you're taking. It's not the magic diet plan that you picked. Does that diet plan work for you and it's going to get you results? Sure. But is this one better than that one? No. So clickbait, let's stay away from clickbait. There's no magic pill. There's probably not a magic program that somebody's selling. But if it works for you, great. But I stay away from clickbait nowadays. I've learned my lesson. I think most people have. We're beginning to learn that. You ever been suckered into any of that?
There's definitely some stuff where they make some obnoxious claim, and then I listen to it and they explain in more detail how they're not really saying that that's totally wrong. You just have to do it the specific way, or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? Where they try and catch your attention because you're like, no, that's not right.
I bought a few things that I probably shouldn't have bought. That is good. It grabbed my attention. Good job. Like, you sold me something. It just unfortunately didn't work as intended. Was it my fault? Probably not. Well, yes, it was my fault for buying it, but it's going to work. Like, it wasn't magic. Guess what? That's too bad. Like, we all wish we could take that pill, but it does not exist. So I remember somebody teaching me, like, how to teach your clients to have a filter. And I didn't know what that meant then. Like, teach them to have a filter, and we taught it over and over. And basically that filter is like, this is what we want to focus on. Don't think about that other stuff. It's not going to help, kind of thing. And just helping them filter out the clickbait versus the good stuff. And I think some of the problem is sometimes is the people, like, they want the fast answer, and they're not always willing to put in the hard work. I get it. It's hard. It's discipline, self-discipline. So there's that. Is teaching people to have a filter, I think, just comes with the territory, and it comes like as we continue to train our people and coach them. Hey, I started taking this the other day. Like, what do you think about it? It's crap. Here, take it back. Like, they're like, why? Like, here's why. Boom, 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 boom. And I have those conversations a lot. So that it becomes a coachable moment versus me just saying it's crap, take it back. It's more like, well, here's what we really need to do that would get you better results. Like, taking this is $45 of like a low dose this or low dose that, or just whatever, ineffective. So it becomes coachable at that moment, being able to work with people.
Yeah. So let's talk very briefly about supplements, because obviously that's a big conversation that we can have. But what you're talking about, people buying products, I'm sure also like the waist slimmers and the whatever the case is. How do you know, and what's your experience and your suggestions for maybe the supplements that people should be taking, if they should be taking any, and how they might actually work or not work?
Yeah. So I have foundationals that I do believe in. Multivitamin. If you're lacking something, your body is not going to run efficiently, plain and simple. There is quality and there is crap. Do your best to find a quality supplement, again, from ideally a credible source. I don't go to GNC. I don't. I think there's better companies out there. I think Thorn is great, by the way. Thorn is a great place to pretty much get all your essentials. Poliquin store has some really amazing stuff. Like, it's quality. It's made like pharmacy, like pharmaceutical grade type stuff. Like, it's good for you. It's not crap and filler. But multivitamin, I think, is super important. Um, Fish oil, I think, is amazing. Like, everybody needs fish oil. It does so many positive things for us. Like, if I could take one and I had to take one, like, it would be fish oil. Let's see. I think creatine's great for almost everybody. I don't care if you eat a lot of red meat, and if, like, people go, I eat a ton of beef, and I eat, no, it's not enough. Like, take some and tell me you don't feel better in the gym. It also is good research behind helping like brain cognitivity. Like, it improves it, and there's a lot of good science on creatine. It's the most studied supplement ever, and it had a bad rap for a long time. But in some way or another, anybody, including like young kids, could take creatine and see an improvement from it. So I like giving that to people. Like, I do buy pre-workouts because it's simple sometimes. But if I were like bare bones, caffeine is amazing for you in the right dosage. Definitely will help your training intensity, your training focus. And like, I think that's really amazing. Good studies behind like how it combats, like, if you don't sleep well. Well, obviously we don't sleep well, we reach for caffeine, but if you take caffeine at the right dosage for your body and how long you're going to work out, you're going to have noticeable improvements. Most pre-workouts are caffeine, beta-alanine, some volumizer, NO2 releasing type substance. You can buy all those individually and dose better for yourself and have amazing workouts. So like, I try not to buy blends, and blends are getting better because I think, the fitness world is aware of underdosed things, and they don't work and they just make you jittery. Well, okay, then, like, guess what? If I take them one by one, I just improved my dosages. They're more optimal for my body, and I may reduce the jitterness, or I may reduce that itchy feeling. And the itchy feelings of the beta alanine kicking in, which makes you work out longer and harder and decrease lactate levels and all that good stuff. You might get 15 reps instead of 12, or 5 instead of 3. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, it's going to do something for your performance, right? So I believe strongly in, like, don't take a pre-workout unless you know it's really good. Take caffeine, like, if anything, by itself. Take some creatine and some beta alanine, and you've got an amazing little stack right there. Like, it's pretty inexpensive. What else? I think probiotics nowadays super important. Those can be tricky. There's a lot of bad probiotics out there. You want to look for things definitely in the higher billion count, and then again, that's not even always 100%. Like, they just put lots of numbers on it and it looks awesome, but you look for the type of enzymes that are in there, and that's a tricky one. And they might not work for your digestive issues, and they might work for mine. So that's tricky. Having a naturopath, something like that, like functionals, like practitioner like that, would probably be, could better advise on that, and that becomes tricky. Other than that, like tea boosters, I don't think they work. Weight loss, slimming stuff doesn't work. Magic green tea works, to an extent, and it does good stuff for you. It's awesome. But those basic things, like, you'll notice an improvement in how you feel. And I'd say there are some niche things that I do like. I'm big into adaptogens. I think they're pretty cool, but that's like a whole nother topic itself. But for example, like, I take rhodiola rosacea, rhodiola, and it helps modulate cortisol levels. So I'm a go type guy. I wouldn't say high stress, but my mental load is stressed out and it's go, 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 and I'm always on. When I take rhodiola, I am more calm. I perform better. I think more clearer. I'm able to stay on task better. It modulating my cortisol and doing a bunch of other things that are amazing. So I think adaptogens are pretty cool. You'll generally find pretty good products like, what is the word? I mean, like adrenal type supplements. Oof, I love that. So I do swear by those. If I had adrenal fatigue a couple years ago and didn't know much about it, I heard it was fake, and some doctors will tell you it's not a thing, which is crazy. Like, yes, it's a thing. You are underperforming because something is lacking, or you're secreting too much of something, and it can be fixed. And like, I don't know if adrenal fatigue 100% exists on a scientific level or not, but like, it's a thing. I was under recovered. I was under nutritioned. I didn't have enough of this, that, and the other. And taking these things made me feel normal again. So I think that's pretty powerful. And that's something that cool, like that I think is worth mentioning. Like, scientific studies are cool, but guess what? Like, so is life experience. And if something worked for you, great. And like, I think that's worth mentioning. And like, we get a lot of that in fitness. So yeah.
Awesome. I love that. So let's talk a little bit more, just a couple more questions. You mentioned a naturopath, right? Having a naturopath look at you and your levels and all that type of thing. Tell me a little bit more about people hiring coaches or doctors or whatever the case is, but just seeking out medical help or, fitness and health help, even psychological help. Why do you think that that's important? Do you think it's important? And why do you think it's important?
There's always somebody out there that's done it, been through it, and has the answers you're asking yourself. Like, I'm going to get on Google. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to figure it out myself. You can do it. You might not do it the best. 10 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, you hire somebody to help you accomplish what you need to accomplish, they're going to help you. Again, because of experience, that is their field. That's what they've studied. They've answered all the questions you're asking yourself, and it's not always easy to ask for help. Like, I didn't even hire a coach for a long time as a trainer. I thought, I'm a trainer, I don't need a coach. Guess what? I did. I needed a coach, and the coaches, I think, less than the fingers on this hand, like I've hired, have made me incrementally better and solved issues that I've had. A gymnastic coach, a lifting coach, a business coach who does so much for my mental game and my business. Like he's cool. He's dope. I thought I was good at this, that, and the other, and he made me that much better. So it's important. Having a good doctor behind you, I think is important, like to help you diagnose issues. If you don't feel normal, you feel cruddy, like they'll figure it out. Now, I do recommend naturopaths a lot because I do think they dive into things a little bit more intimately than a doctor can. They're going to spend more time with you. They're going to evaluate the things that I believe are more important than just a blanket, like, oh, you feel this way because of this, so I'm going to give you this script. No, don't take that script. Let's get you doing this instead, right? So, different topic, different day, but yeah, I think it's important for people to reach out and get help because there's somebody that's going to help you, and they're going to do it better than you probably can. Learn along the way. All for that, though. Ask your questions, figure them out, and learn how to apply it yourself.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So then I guess the last kind of question for you is where to now? Where do you plan on going? Where do you want to go? Where do you see your career going?
Yeah. So it was interesting. Last year with COVID happening, was a shock to the world. Imagine that, shut down a lot of businesses. And I had a pretty good vision set up and a business plan set up to like buy my own gym. It was going to be a CrossFit gym. It was going to be awesome. It didn't happen because of the fear of the market. And I didn't think it was good timing, honestly, right? But, reassessing now recently and what I think I want to have happen is run a boutique type parlor that people rent out space and they can train their clients out of. Um, I'm not 100% sold on that yet because I would miss the community. Like I would miss the community. Like, where's it at? It's just me and my people. That's awesome. That's great. We're gonna do great things together. But dang, maybe that means I build the community around the gym that I open and make it more open to the trainers and their clients to become one. And I imagine it'd be like that anyways, a little bit. But one of my buddies, Dan Ellis, works out of Domination Fitness, I believe. And the guy that runs that is Dominic Costa. Like, I don't know how community driven it is, but like they all know each other and they can all talk about, like on a personal level stuff. I've seen it happen. And Jared worked out of there. He's who owned CrossFit BYB. Like they were all together. So I know they had their little community, but Jared broke off to build a bigger community in CrossFit. And I think he did that and that was cool. So I don't know. I want a studio of my own that I can call my own, that I create the vision and it's there and people can come and better themselves. I like that idea a lot. And I think it would be a good setup for myself. Something we kind of touched on was CrossFit. Like I have some issues with it. I'm a real big fan of OPEX Fitness. And they are a gym brand, gym name, I don't know what you want to call it, company. They do, in my opinion, CrossFit the right way. Like they make it more for you, person in front of them. When you join a CrossFit class, it's very general pop. It's broad based. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do anything, pretty much. Like we can make it happen for you. But that's not necessarily what they need. So what OPEX does differently is find out what you need, and then they make it more applicable to you. And so I like their gym ideals, and they do have like gym franchising. So you take their certifications, which is one that I've been thinking about doing for a while, which I'm pulling the plug on this next year. I'm going to do it and then try to I'm going to do their training program, coaching program, and then maybe their business program after that, where you basically end up building one of their OPEX gyms. So that's what's on my mind. It's weighing the options here.
Okay, very cool. Awesome. So I will try to put in some links about some of the stuff that we talked about, some of the resources that you've mentioned to me so that people can explore those a little bit more. What is the best way if somebody wanted to know more about you and your career that they can reach you?
Call me, text me. No. Honestly, I'm pretty available on Instagram or Facebook. You can call, text me if you have questions and anything like that. I love to have conversations about fitness. And they have my training page. We can link them. I think it's Olson 1224 is my Instagram. And I'm not as active as much on social media. I check it, but I'm not on it. But if you want to get a hold of me, you'll be able to get a hold of me through there. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for taking the time to share your journey with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it. As good as always, Michelle.
All right. Talk to you soon.